In this lesson, we're going to talk about orthographic views in multi-view drawings. We'll start with an orthographic overview. Then we'll move on to layer setup, and then we'll discuss construction lines. Most drawings produced and used in industry are multi-view drawings. Multi-view drawings are used to provide accurate three-dimensional object information on two-dimensional media, a means of communicating all the information necessary to transform an idea or concept into reality. The standards and conventions of multi-view drawings have been developed over many years, which equip us with a universally understood method of communication. Multi-view drawings usually require several orthographic views to define the shape of a three-dimensional object. Each orthographic view is a two-dimensional drawing showing only two of the three dimensions of the three-dimensional object. Consequently, no individual view contains sufficient information to completely define the shape of the three-dimensional object. All orthographic views must be looked at together to comprehend the shape of the three-dimensional object. The arrangement and relationship between the views are therefore very important in multi-view drawing. We're going to start this AutoCAD session by selecting AutoCAD. And we're going to start a new drawing from scratch. Before we get started drawing, there's a few settings that we need to change. The first one is we need to make sure that we select our units and go to 2 decimal places. To do that, we can type in units in the command bar. And we want to make sure it is set to decimal and that our precision is set to 2 decimal places. Once you're done with that, go ahead and say OK. It will close that. We need to then set our grid spacing and our snap spacing to both 0.5 in the X and Y directions. To do that, we're going to go down here. We're going to go to snap settings. We're going to turn our snap on. Make sure that our snap X spacing is 0.5, our snap Y spacing is 0.5, and then go down to our grid spacing and also verify that the grid X spacing is 0.5 and the grid Y spacing is 0.5. Once you've verified that, select OK. You'll see now in the bottom bar that both of those are turned on as they're highlighted. The next thing we need to do is set our layers. So we're going to go up to the Layer Properties Manager, select it. It's going to open up, and now we can create new layers. To do that, we're going to select the new layer icon, and we are going to create the following layers. We want a construction layer, and then we also want an object layer. The color of the construction layer should be white. We can make, if you need to, you can make this a little bit bigger. And you can slide these over so that you can actually see what they say. So the construction layer we want to be white. The object layer we want to be blue. And then the line type needs to be continuous for both of them. We also want to select the construction layer and make it the current layer. To do so, select the construction layer, and then up here we want to hit the one with the green check mark. You can see the construction layer is now the current layer. Once you've done that, go ahead and hit the close button, and you'll also notice that up in the top that you actually see construction as the current layer. One last thing we need to check is down in the status bar area, we need to reset the option buttons so that only the snap mode and the grid display are switched on. So if you have anything else switched on, switch it off at this time. Now we can start drawing our construction lines. Construction lines are lines that extend to infinity. Construction lines are usually used as references for creating other objects. We will also place the construction lines on the construction layer so that the layer can be frozen or turned off later. The first thing we need to do is select the construction line icon. It is not immediately visible on the toolbar, and so what we're going to do is hit the drop down on Draw, and you'll notice the construction line is right here. Go ahead and select that icon, and you'll see that in the command prompt area, it will say specify a point or horizontal, vertical, angle, bisect, or offset. To orient construction lines, we generally specify 2 points. So we're going to select a location near the lower left corner, click, and you'll notice we now have a construction line attached to our cursor. So we want to pick a location above our construction line first point so that we have a vertical line. And then we're going to move it to the right and create a horizontal line and make another click. To end this command, all we have to do is right click. Now the command is complete. Inside the status bar area, we want to turn off the snap option. We're now going to offset these two lines using the offset command. To do so, we need to select the offset icon in the Modify toolbar. In the command prompt area, we see Specify Offset Distance. We want to enter 5. The command prompt area now says Select Object to Offset, and we want to select the vertical line. AutoCAD Next asks us to identify the direction of the offset. We want to pick a location that is to the right of the vertical line. If we right-click and choose Enter, that will end the offset command. In the command prompt area, click on the small triangle icon to access the list of recent commands. Go ahead and select the offset command. It's going to ask us again to specify offset distance. Notice that 5 is the default because that's the last thing we used. However, we want to offset 2.5 units. So we'll enter 2.5 and hit enter. It's now going to ask us to select the object that we would like to offset, select that horizontal line. It's going to want to know what direction to go, and we're going to go ahead and go vertically 2.5. We click, and then we can right click, hit enter. That exits the offset command. I'm going to take the opportunity to go ahead and zoom in here a little bit so we can get a closer view of what we're doing. Now I'm going to repeat the offset command so that we can offset these lines to finish laying out our construction lines. So the first thing I want to do is 1.5 units, and I want to offset the horizontal line here, and I want to offset the vertical line here. This will be the gap between our drawings. And then I need to redo the offset command. So right click, enter, redo the offset command, and I want to go out 3 units. And I want to go ahead and offset the first horizontal one, and I want to offset the vertical one. What we've done with these construction lines is set up the locations where we're going to do our 3 multi-view drawings. We're going to do a drawing here, a drawing here, and a drawing here that all relate to one another.